Next pop-up is 3-bit pop-up out of position and in position. First, I'm going to tell you about when to showdown, when on showdown, when on soft flop, and also we have aggression numbers here. Uh, I want to add this in the 3-bitter pop-up also so you know their tendencies, so you can adjust your strategies. Okay, then uh, we have the ranges on the left side in all positions. When we hover over it, we see the range. We know that green line is active line, aggressive line, so it's 3-bit range. And here we can see the 3-bit range of the small blind versus button. Here we have 3-bit versus the hero. I am hero, so it can be against myself, but you will see how other players play against you. Then also we have fold versus 4-bit stats. So when we click over here, uh, we can see blue one is calling 4-bit, so we can know their calling 4-bit range. We see here that call 4-bit range is 8.1. So blue color will indicate with which hands the player is calling 4-bet small blind versus button. Also, the green line is aggressive line, and it means what the player is showing. Here we have also 5-bet stats, so we can basically know their entire range. We have 3-bets, how he play against the 4-bet, how much he calls 4-bet, and what is he showing over the 4-bet. We have that for all positions. Then we go to the post flop. It's pretty standard. We have c-bet stats on flop, turn, and river. When we hover over it, we can see a diagram with the distribution of the hands, so we can know how much they are bluffing, with which hands are they bluffing, in how much often they are bluffing. Also here we have bet sizing, so we will know how they built their strategy, and also when we hover over it, we're going to see which hands are they using with the bet big size, because this is 0.8 to 1, so really big size for the 3-bet pots, and we can see distribution of their bluffs or value hands for every size. When we hover over the turn, we know their turn strategies. We can again see their sizes. We can see distribution of their hands. We also have that for the river. Then we also will know how they play against the hero, how much they barrel against the hero, do they bluff us a lot. We're going to see their entire range. These are their sizes, so uh, 30 to 45%, 45 to 70, and 70%. We'll know the strength of their bet. When we hover over it, we'll again see a distribution of the range. We can also have boards, ace high boards, paired one, monotone, low boards, and drawy boards. And also we have a really cool thing here, is how they play when the flush is hit to the turn. And when we hover over it, we're gonna see which hand they are betting on the turn when the flush is got there on the turn. So for example, we're gonna see that this player is mostly value heavy when it's flush on the turn, so it will give us a lot of information when the turn hits, and this player bets, we will want to fold a lot. So they are betting good top pairs, over pairs, sets, uh, two pair plus, flushes, straights, and stuff. We can also see the sizes here. He uses on the turn when the flush got there, so when he bets with the big size, it's signal of a really strong hand, and we can see all of that for all sizes. Also, we have when the flush draw is on the flop and the flush is missed on the turn, we can also see their betting range, their hand distribution, and also the size. So we basically have every information we need for the entire strategy in the 3-bet pots. We have the how they play the check ranges. We can see their delay c-bet. For example, this player has 47% of delay c-bet. It's a lot. So he he also has 68% of the c-bet range, so it's telling me that he's checking a lot of good hands. You see we have a lot of overpair sets, uh, top pair plus hands, so he will probably over bluff as a c-bet on the flop because his check range is really good. And then we can see how they play delay in the bet river. For example, we see that this player also bluffs a lot, miss a trash, so no equity hands, missed overcards, ace highs, missed draws, low pair. This is all bluffs. And we can also see because he has a okay check range that he has also hands like nuts in the range also. Okay, then we can know how they play against the raise. For example, on all three streets, and we can then also know what to do against them on every street. Do we want to raise them as a bluff or raise them maybe on the river as a bluff? This player doesn't fold the river when he's triple barreling. We can see his strength of his triple barrel. We also see that ace highs, missed draws, low pairs, and he's still not folding a lot on the raise on the river. We also have that for the boards, and for me really important thing is how they play their check range. So here we can see how much they fold on the turn when they skip c-bet, their check fold. You can see their check fold on the flop. Like I said, they had this player has a good check range because you see that when he's checking he's not folding a lot, he's check raising quite a lot. We can see with which hands he is check raising. We see a lot of overpair hands because that have most sense. They are probably basically they need a lot of protection on many boards, and he's mixing trash with some ace kings, king queens. That's probably a blocker place or range play. Okay, then we can also see for the river. This stat is really important, and this player, it is me, but also it is quite high number. So basically when I check river in 3-bet pots, I will be folding a lot. I will also triple barrel a lot, 63% on the river, but when I check, I will fold a lot when I check the river. So when you float 2 times against this type of the players, on the river you must bluff with everything. And we can see also with which hands will this player check call river after he's not betting it. And we can see this guy will, for example, call in this spot 6-7. It is low pair, but in this structure it is good bluff catcher. And ace-5, ace-5 is also a good bluff catcher on this run out. Okay, and we see also some topper hands where the middle cards got, as this is clear check with king queen and call the shove with, and also with the ace jack. So basically we will know their check range in the flop on the turn. We'll see with which they are check raising. For example, let's see with check raising a turn with, we see draws 28%, he will check ship the draws, top pairs, over pairs. He's not folding a lot on the turn check. We're gonna see his check call range on the turn, but I will also give you a hint how will you know how is the range check range on the turn in 3-bet pots of a player. You're gonna know if you look at this stat: c-bet, check call, check fold. If player is c-betting, check calling and check folding more than 60%, his check call range on the turn is pretty weak. And in today's game, people will c-bet a lot in 3-bet pots. They will use a lot 1/3 size, and they will get on the turn with many medium strength hands. They will check fold that medium strength hands on the turn, and they will check fold the river with that hands. So against this type of players, I add that badge specifically. You want to attack their check range on the turn really hard, and always continue on the river. And this is really important stats. And also you have how they play other parts of their checking range. C-bet check fold, pretty high. So when you see the player is c-betting locked and the turn is check and he's checking the river, he will mainly fold. So also really important thing to take into account. And then we also have a c-bet check bet line, a really important line, because most players are lacking bluffs in that spot, and they will see like you will see like 20 to 30%, and you will need to fold a lot against these type of players. If they have okay constructed range, let's see here, for example, what I'm doing with that line, I have I would say okay proportion of bluffs. So I'm bluffing with my worst hands, miss a trash, missed overcards, turning ace high into bluff, occasionally low pairs, and for value like top pairs, middle pairs, sets, and 2 pair plus hands. So you can always know every part of their range in the 3-bet pots. You have everything here, how they play delay game, how much they check fold. Also a good start to if players, and a lot of players in my pool have like 50-60 here, you want to take their range, and you will see how they will defend river. For example, a lot of players will have like check fold like 50-60, and they will fold like 60-70 on the river. Basically you have 22 cards you can bet turn and bet river with. Okay, so this is for out of position in 3-bet pots. It's pretty similar for in position. We have positions. We have exactly the same stats. We have also same stats that you want to take into account to know if the player is aggressive on every line. You want to know he's when to showdown, one on showdown. You have again same c-bet strategy in position. You just hover over it, you will see the range. With the flop bet barreling on turn, you will see distribution of bluffs. You will see which size he used, and also for the river. So pretty similar to out of position. You have here c-bet and fold to a check raise. Here you have call, check raise, fold turn, and call, check raise, call, and fold river. Really important to know. For example, if will player go till the end, is he going to believe on the flop? Because I see a lot of players in my pool that fold a really low number here, but they fold a really high number here, or they fold a really high number on the river. And also you want to know when they call check raise on the turn, how they fold the river. You also have here how they play against a step, how much they check fold. Really important to know their check range. If you want to attack their check ranges, you will see, for example, on every line how they defend their range with. So by this we have completed out of position and in position 3-bet pots. If you notice, we don't have a big blind versus small blind here, but that's because we have the separate pop-ups for small blind versus big blind and big blind versus small blind. Thank you, and we are going to go to the next pop-up.